He wasn't around Monday either. Huh? No, he wasn't. No. He did listen to me. Whatever.
Okay, all right, folks, let's go ahead and get started and welcome everyone this evening. I'll call the meeting to order. Would you like to join us in the Pledge Allegiance to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mary, could we get roll call, please?
Olson.
Here.
Sykes.
Here.
Johnson. Here. Kellum.
Here.
Hopsinski.
Here.
Coburn.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We have a couple great presentations this evening, first on our agenda. And the one is the Government Finance Officers Association Award that we received for many years, and it must be Mr. Don Hudson. Okay, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here again. I was here 2 years ago doing the same thing.
Yes.
It's great to be
you.
invited back. And it's a great reason to be here. Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Don Hudson. I'm the finance director with the city of Tualatin and a past president of the Oregon Government Finance Officers Association. I'm here this evening, though, representing the National Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. So before getting into the reason why I'm here tonight, which the mayor nicely told us, I'd like to give you a little background on the two organizations. So Oregon Government Finance Officers Association, or OGFOA, maintains a membership of approximately 500 members. And they are from cities, counties, special districts, school districts, and then we have association membership as well. The organization promotes professionalism and excellence in public finance management through a commitment to four primary goals. We foster individual professional growth. We advance the government finance profession. We further standards and policies for the benefit of our communities and our membership. And we monitor and review legislative and judicial activities as they relate to our memberships and our entities. GFOA, or the Government Finance Officers Association, was founded in 1906 and represents public finance entities throughout the United States and Canada. The association has over 20,000 members throughout the United States and Canada, and their mission is very similar to OGFOA, providing best practice guidance, networking opportunities, a large collection of publications. They do research for us and have high quality training opportunities for their membership. So another program through GFOA, which is why I'm here this evening, is their recognition programs. I am pleased to be here to present the City of Albany with 3 awards that are bestowed upon by GFOA. The Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting Award, the Popular Annual Financial Reporting Award, and the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. So if I could have J.C. Raleigh join me up here, I'd like to acknowledge his work on the CAFR, or the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. So the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting program was established in 1945, and it encourages and assists state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles in preparing their comprehensive annual financial report. And it provides evidence of the spirit of transparency and full disclosure. Reviewers review the CAFR using a checklist that is actually 79 pages long, has over 500 items to address, and there are 124 specific items that if any one is not appropriately presented in the financial statements, then that one failure will disqualify the whole CAFR from being awarded. The interesting part is these required items vary from something as simple as having a table of contents to as complex as, and I'm sure you'll follow along with me as I tell you this part of it, ensuring your statements properly combine the expenses of individual functions and activities with related program revenues to calculate the net expense or revenue of each function and activity. Could everybody repeat that back to me? So by achieving this award, the City of Albany has ensured that its financial statements are more than just numbers. Your citizens can be assured that your financial position is transparent, fully disclosed, and of the highest quality comparable at a national level. JC was very involved in that process this year, and I'd like to recognize him specifically for getting this award. There are 119 total recipients of this award in the state of Oregon, and only 42 are cities. And this is the 34th consecutive year that the city of Albany has received this recognition. So please honor JC and the rest of the staff. Next, I'd like to have Ann Baker join me up here to recognize her work. And a little birdie told me before I came up here today that she recently celebrated a birthday. So I'd like to also wish her a happy birthday along with receiving these awards.
You could sing.
So the first award is for the city's popular annual financial report. GFOA created this award program in 1991 to encourage and assist state and local governments to extract information from their CAFR to produce financial reports that are specifically designed to be readily accessible and easily understandable to the general public. They are judged on 5 categories that are giving varying weights of importance toward the overall final grade. The first 4 are reader appeal, understandability, distribution methods, and then they have an other category, which is like creativity, notable achievements. Those 4 categories make up 50% of the scoring, and the rest of the other 50% is based upon overall quality and the usefulness of the report. In Oregon, only 8 entities receive this award, of which 5 are cities. And this is the 6th consecutive year that the city of Albany has received this recognition. Congratulations, Ann.
Great.
I'll make her stay up here again, and we won't sing happy birthday, but stay up here for the last award, which is the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award Program, which was established in 1984. The goal of this program is to encourage and assist state and local governments to prepare budget documents of the very highest quality that reflect both the guidelines established by the National Advisory Council on state and local budgeting, as well as GFOA's best practices. There are 3 reviewers across the country to review the budget document, and there are 27 specific categories that are grouped into 4 basic categories for reviewing. They must be rated either proficient or outstanding by at least 2 of the 3 reviewers for all 4 basic categories, as well as for 14 of the 27 specific criteria identified as mandatory. There are 61 recipients of this award in the state of Oregon, of which 36 are cities. And this is the 26th year that the city of Albany has received this award. Congratulations, Ann. And I want to throw out one other thing. Your city gets all 3 of these awards, and there are only 6 entities in the entire state of Oregon that receive all 3 awards. So I think it's something very proud to be, something very proud for the city to have achieved. But of course, the recognition for these awards doesn't only go to the 2 individuals that I've already recognized, but recognition should also be given to the entire finance department led by Jenna Yeager, as well as the city management and staff. And lastly, the support of the mayor and the city council should not be overlooked. The environment of excellence is obvious here at the city of Albany, and your citizens should be very proud. So congratulations to all of you, and thanks again for inviting me to present these awards.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's actually really good news too, since we do have a new finance director, and JC also has joined the team, and that's really reassuring, knowing the amount of leadership that we have to be able to get this award again is just fantastic, and good job to our staff. We want to thank you so much, and you helped to make Albany shine, so proud of that. Thank you. So, and thank you, John, for coming to Albany. And
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So, good job. Thanks. Okay, next is another presentation, and this one's going to be for the American Cancer Society, and it's Nancy Alcott. You know, if you'd like to come forward, and she would like to say a few words and give a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. My name is Nancy Allnut, and I am here on behalf of the American Cancer Society. And I'm just going to take a moment in response to this gentleman's comments. As a citizen of the city of Albany, I am very proud of our town.
you.
I love the city of Albany. We have been here since the early 90s, and I am very proud to call it my home.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Back to why I am here today. As, again, I am representing the American Cancer Society, and I want to take a moment to thank the mayor, the city, and everyone here for your support on letting us have our relay here. We were able to raise over $62,000 this year with our relay, and as one that has been a recipient of the programs that the American Cancer Society provides, I really can't tell you how important that is. So thank you, and I would love to be able to present this plaque to Mayor.
Thank you so much, Steve and Nancy, so thank you. And they're also great supporters, too, of our River Rhythms concert and Art and Air Festival, so we love that support. Thank you. So, okay, council, so now on scheduled business. First you have, under communication, this would be accepting Sue Goodman's resignation from the Planning Commission.
Move to accept and send a letter of thank you.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Next would be accepting Janelle Bennett's resignation from the Library Board.
Move to accept and send a letter of thank you.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
With regret.
Okay. And next is accepting Steve Van Buskert's resignation from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission.
Move to accept the resignation and send a letter of thank you.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. And next is accepting Denise Hughes Taffin's resignation from the Human Relations Commission.
Move to accept and send a letter of thank you.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carried. Next, let's see, this starts on page 7, and this would be for public hearing, sale of 3 residential lots. So at 7:28 PM, I will open up the public hearing, and does staff have a report on this?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, the public hearing tonight is to consider the sale of 3 single-family residential lots that are a portion of what we commonly refer to as the Brandis property. The lots can be seen on page 20 of your packet. There's a map there. And the proposed sale price is $75,000 per lot, totaling $225,000. That's equivalent to a current appraisal on those properties. And the public hearing is to consider the sale of those at that price to Miles Bredner, who is developing much of the surrounding property, and he is looking to incorporate these lots so there's consistency in development throughout that area. If upon receiving any testimony, you're inclined to move forward with this, we'd ask that you that you direct the city manager to go ahead and execute the attached purchase and sale agreement.
Okay, all right. Questions? Bessie?
Jeff, I noticed on most things that we sell or that properties that were listed, they have the map and tax lot, and I can find part of the map, but it's very hard to read, but I didn't see any tax lots. I was gonna check, the value and everything, and I could not find anything.
So these are lots where we can't record the plat until the public infrastructure is complete. So that's why we enter into a purchase and sale agreement with terms, and so the lots are not, while we have land use approval, the lots have not been created. So they'll get a tax lot assigned to them at the time that they're platted.
But the whole property would have a tax lot,
There's a
wouldn't it?
parent parcel
That's what I need.
identifier on it. We can look that up real quick. It's also in the, I believe it's in the
I couldn't find it
the notice of public hearing. It's probably in the purchase and sale agreement, too.
Yeah. I noticed that they're separated. I'm presuming that is because it's wetland all around them?
That's correct. That's, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
The available space.
okay.
Actually, it makes that one worth a lot.
So is there anyone here that would like to comment on these, on this agenda item? This would be for the city-owned single-family residential lots, the sale of those. Mark, you had signed up on this public hearing. Were you wanting to speak on this, or was that on a different matter? Okay, all right, that's so. Okay, anyone that wanted to speak on this item? Okay, with that, I will close the public hearing at 7:31 PM. And council, what would you like to do with this item?
Move to authorize the city manager sign the PSA.
Okay,
Second.
all right, there's a motion made and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, this is business from the public. Is there anyone here that would like to bring an item forward to the council this evening? Yeah, Chad?
My name is Chet Hauser, and I'm appearing tonight as the president of the Monteith Historical Society. That building is located at 518 2nd Street, directly across from the post office. The Monteith Historical Society board has asked me to come in and express our concern about preserving the historic nature of the Albany, particularly the historic district areas. You have several issues that we've been discussing in the last couple of meetings. The board was concerned. It appears that one of the houses on the Calapooya and 4th block, built about 1856, would have belonged to Dr. Hill in doing our research, and he's what we named Hill Street for, so one of the cornerstones of the Albany area. The Landmarks Commission has been working on it, made some recommendations you'll probably hear about tonight. We'd also like to commend them for approving a house on the northeast end of town, and the builder's basically going to do a craftsman bungalow from the ground up. It'll be brand new, but it'll be very hard for somebody to drive by and not see that it was something built this year. So we just look forward, and we realize there are a lot of hurdles in our way, but Albany has a very distinct historic downtown core area. The Monteith Society does tours and fundraising, and it helps pay for the bills for the house. And people love coming to Albany to see the historic district. So, thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Chad. Anyone else from business from the public? Yes, Mark?
Yeah, thank you. My name's Mark Signer, and this is my wife Tina, and we reside in Albany at 516 Coons Drive. And we'd like to discuss the properties that we currently own on 4th and Calapooya. We purchased these 3 structures from the Signs of Victory mission after completing some due diligence and meeting with the city several times. And the city encouraged a couple of avenues. One being rehabilitation with the assistance of urban renewal funding. The other avenue being demolition and construction of new historically sensitive buildings in the DMU zone. Both options had merit and both seemed plausible. And as a result of our findings, we did continue and we purchased those properties at the start of this year. In an effort to try the path of restoration, we generated a spreadsheet of the cost to include restoration of each structure and a 4-bay garage in the back of the property that would have a duplex above it. In the interim, we had a pre-application meeting with the city, and the overall impression taken from that meeting was that these structures needed to come down. Wanting to exhaust the avenue of restoration, we submitted our request and cost breakdown to Seth Sherry, who had taken over the care duties from our previous contact, Ed Hodney. Following our submission, care funding was denied as the proposed associated costs far exceeded a prudent investment by CARA. As a result of this decision, we proceeded to our second option, which was demolition. In the criteria for this demolition, we must show that these structures meet at least one of 4 criteria. We feel that we met all 4, and after paying the city fee of $687 on June 8th, we were finally granted a hearing on September 5th. Despite having met the criteria with considerable evidence and testimony of 7 other homeowners and business owners nearby speaking in favor of demolition, we were denied by the Landmarks Advisory Board, and they did not ask any questions of our findings. Disregarding all of our evidence, they stated that the sole purpose of the commission is to safeguard all structures within the historic district. We feel that our fee was essentially kind of extorted along with 3 months of our time. It is evident following the meeting that despite any evidence that we could or did present, it would not make a difference to the advisory board. As such, we come to you as we feel that an appeal to the city council is the right thing to do. We value your input and we will use it as a gauge for the next steps, because that next step costs another $850 fee. So we appreciate your time, we would love your input, and that's what we have.
Okay, all right, questions? Betsy?
I don't have a question, I just have a statement that with the shape that the houses are in and who owned them before, we know they didn't ever take care of the properties. And I just feel that you shouldn't have to wait a year to demolish them. I mean, it's just not worth, I mean, what's it gonna cost? Over $1 million to refurbish them. Well, you can make, someone can construct, and probably you're gonna do the work, construct it to look like it's historical. I mean, you're not gonna put a new type of ranch house there or whatever. And so I just think that I would hope that the council would somehow figure out a way to prove this. I just, I mean, you tried what you could, you know, and for one thing, the fee, like you say, you pay the fee, and it was gonna kind of be a denial anyway, so it's a waste of your time and money. And I just feel that some things just, even though it'd be great if you had millions and millions of dollars to fix them up, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
But the when is the deadline for you to appeal? So there is that process that you have.
Yeah, it's 10 days from their decision, which was September 5th.
I think it would be Monday.
September 16th.
It would be the weekend, but it would fall, because it falls on a weekend, it would be Monday.
So you can still appeal it then to the council
Yeah.
by Monday? Yeah, so you
Just-
would have time.
I'm sorry, Mayor, to finish my thought, I'd like to have the city attorney tell us what we can do without the appeal. Because, I mean, why have them go through another expense if we can do it before?
So there's 2 ways that this can get before the city council. One is that if the applicant files the appeal within the 10-day deadline, which is Monday. Another is if the council wants to bring it up on their own behalf within that 10-day period, they can call this up for review. It would be a de novo review. It would still be a review process that would require a public hearing and notice, but it would be the council bringing it up, and therefore the applicants in this case would not have to file their appeal fee. They would, so.
Rich?
Well, with that thought process, I would move that we, in fact, make that de novo hearing a reality.
Second.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if he was done.
And to that point, we have a number of times with various committees, and these people are diligent in what they do. They are trying to do the thing that they were put there to do. But there are some of them, in order to be on a committee, you have to have a certain thought process already in your head, that you're there to save stuff, if it can be saved. And to my way of thinking, as I understand the name of the committee is, it's Landmarks Advisory Committee, is that correct? Well, they're not advising, they're telling people what they have to do. So I think the 800 and whatever dollars, it ends up being the same thing, only they don't have to spend the $800. Either way, we have to, I think from my perspective, we have to look into it.
So you do kind of set a precedent, though, by waiving a fee, because we've had this question come to us.
This is not
over
waiving a
the
fee,
years.
Mayor.
No.
It is us doing it. It just means that they don't have to pay the fee.
Okay, but you're setting a precedent then, because then somebody else might want to request the same thing. How are you going to, and what if you're not in agreement? How are you going to handle that?
Well, Mayor, that's a straw man argument, okay? That,
Well, it's being fair across the board.
no, it's a straw man argument. You're set, it's a what if. You know, what if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, we're not gonna vote on it?
But we've
That's
had the question in the past before, and had the request to even waive, but we have always said before, no, we didn't want to set that precedent.
Well, these committees, some of them, and I mean, I think you put all of the people in place.
Well, the council ratifies.
Well, but, you know, if you put somebody's name up here, I want to have one of these two people on a committee, and somebody says, well, no, all of a sudden, we just slapped that person in the face. And many times, we don't know them as well as you do. I mean, think of it, what would happen if we wanted to do something with business? And I said, okay, I'm going to put all the people in place, and all those people, because I put them in place, they would be there because they agree with me or agree enough with me. So you get this unidimensional thought that goes into the system, whether it is people who want to save everything, or, you know, others like the Arts Commission, where they have a certain thought process. There doesn't seem to be any debate.
So in defense of the Landmarks Advisory Committee, they go by what was presented to them in material, and the staff's recommendation was to go the year, to wait to see if somebody would come forward to remodel the house, and, you know, to give the 1 year for demolition. So they went by staff's recommendation.
Well,
So
It
it's
doesn't
not.
make any difference. They have all unithought going on.
But then if they're agreeing with it too, I mean, and that's been a part of our historic district.
But that doesn't make it right.
Well, maybe you don't think it's right, but there's other people that do think it's right.
Okay, we can agree
So,
to disagree. I've had what I need to
It's
say.
kind of when you come into the historic district, and, I mean, I look at decisions that we make today, we want citizens to be proud of those decisions in years down the road, whether it's 5 years or 100 years. But even past decisions that were made, when you see a house that's, say, in the historic district, say if it's a ranch-style house or house that's not historic, people today would probably question, well, how come that was ever built there?
Yep.
You know, why was that put there and not saving the historic house? If all of our historic, you know, homes that we have today, people come into our historic district and they commend the city leaders and looking to the future and preserving our past. That's the whole goal of historic preservation, is preserving our past for the future. But if you don't do
Did you not hear them
that,
say that the things that would be put in there, the houses that would be built would be historically accommodating?
right, there's still not, I mean, there could be some other options to look at if somebody, there could be some lot line adjustments and separate the houses and try to sell one at a time. or mostly the most significant one that would be on the corner. And maybe the others could be demolished. That we don't know. There hasn't been time for anybody to come forward to see if they would want to put that project together. But, yeah, Bill.
So I seconded the motion. As I understand it, the motion, this will be an opportunity for the council to review the decision by the Landmarks
Yeah.
Commission. And I have no problem with undertaking that task to review it. It sounds like it's warranted. Mr. Signer said that, in his opinion, they ignored or didn't listen to his arguments. I don't have any reason to think he's sitting there lying to us, and so I'm beginning to get the impression that maybe he didn't get a fair shake. And because of that, I agree with what Rich is saying, that there's no reason to have them pay the additional money for an appeal. They paid a bunch of money to begin with, and as I just said, it appears they didn't get a fair shake, so this is maybe just trying to level the playing field. But again, it's a hearing where I look forward to hearing both sides of the arguments. I think all of you know me well enough that that's kind of the way I operate. I'm going to ask questions and get all the information and try and make a good decision. So.
Dick?
Yeah, I'm going to vote against this motion, and for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's unfortunate to tell our Landmarks Commission that you don't know what you're talking about and you made the wrong decision. And I think we look at the Landmarks Commission, we see a contractor there who specializes in doing historic not resurrections, but restorations. We see a homeowner who has gone through the process and knows what costs are and what they ought to be. And I have good feelings about the other people on the commission too. One is an architect I appreciate a lot. And the other is, I think it's a real shame to be wanting to tear down a really historic house. To me, any building that survives from the 1850s has to be a historic house. And I think, in addition to that, a building that had belonged to one of Albany's really outstanding citizens adds to it being a historic house. And you may not be familiar with Dr. J. Lindsay Hill, but he, among other things, was a physician. He was medical Dr. Hill. He was a preacher. He was instrumental in starting the First Baptist Church here in Albany. I'm not a Baptist, some of you may be. He was a collector of stuff. He started his museum in the Octagon House, which he moved from 5th and Ferry down to the corner of 3rd and Washington. And when he got that filled up, he built another museum next door. When he died, the Latter-day Luddites here in Albany said, phooey, we don't care about Dr. Hill's stuff. And it became the nucleus of the Horror Museum over in Corvallis. People in Corvallis, university town, they put some value on it.
The university.
Most of that stuff, I think all of it, is presently in the Benton County Museum in Philomath. People in Corvallis are building a new building to house that museum. It's going to move. So to me, Dr. Hill is a figure of historic note, and I think his house is likewise a building of historic note. So I'm going to vote no on this motion.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, it appears I'm going to be tilting windmills here, but I'm also going to be voting no on it. And so I'll be very intrigued to see at the public hearing what new information will come about
that we don't already have.
I think quite a bit.
And, who knows? There may be some underlying issues that are not publicly available that we haven't seen. I guess that's the hope, but I'm still going to vote no on it at this point.
Okay. All right. So, okay, anything else? All right, motion's been made in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, so this will be
Can I
coming
confirm
back
who
as a
said
de
no?
novo hearing.
Olson and
And
Kopsinski said no. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and thank you. And also, just really want to commend the two of you. You have done some great projects in Albany, and we really appreciate the projects you've done. And I'm sorry this is kind of causing a little bit of controversy, but it'll all get worked out, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Mayor, the hearings need to be scheduled either October 12th or, October 10th or October 31st. And so we'll get back to the group on when that's scheduled. Sean's looking at me different. I think I'm making a mistake.
Isn't it the 5th Wednesday? I don't know.
These are dates I got from Bob.
October,
I said that's the
Yeah.
5th
Yeah.
Wednesday of the month.
We'll have staff get in touch with you tomorrow and give you a clear picture of what to expect when.
nobody would want to come. Yeah. So, yeah.
What goes on Thursday?
Yeah, we'll get that worked out, because if you say that's Halloween night, I think most
Oh, is
people
that
like to
Halloween?
hand out candy to the neighbor kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be a regular scheduled council meeting, so if that's not the right date, then we'll get the
Okay.
right one.
All right. Okay. Anything else from business from the public? Anybody else that wanted to bring something forward? Okay, all right, not seeing any. Thank you, folks. Next, this would be adoption of the consent calendar, and if there isn't any items that need to be pulled off this evening, council will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion for adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is award a contract. This is awarding a contract to Valley Merchant Police for unarmed security guard services. They have done a fantastic job, and our local security here, we really appreciate their service. Is there any questions over this contract to staff? Yeah, Bill?
So there aren't any bid results, and I've voiced a concern about this before. I assume that the information, as far as experience and qualifications and costs and so forth, is public record. I don't know why I'm looking at Jeff. I'm sorry. Somebody.
Making me nervous.
I'm looking it up right now. The information is, yeah. So, let me just go to my notes here real quick.
Well, and while you're looking for that, one of my concerns is how things are evaluated. You've all heard the story, but I've been involved in situations like this in my previous career, and, it boiled down to cost. And it frustrated me that, the experience and the qualifications and references were all for naught, and, at the end of the day, it was just cost. I don't know that that's the case here, but it would be nice to see a spreadsheet or some information to understand how staff arrived at the decision to
So,
award.
I'll do a quick update on this one here. So staff requests the council adopts a resolution awarding Valley Merchant Police, Inc. a contract for unarmed security services for 4 years, starting September of this year through August of 2022, with an option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods with a total term not to exceed 6 years. The City Safety Committee identified safety concerns and made recommendations to improve facilities and personnel safety. The scope of this work expands current services, which includes evening meetings like tonight, the farmer's market, the Public Works Ops facility, Talking Water Gardens, and the new part is selected daytime hours at City Hall. The city received 5 competitive proposal responses. Each proposal were scored based on cost, references, experience, and qualifications. These are the areas that we evaluated them in. The final score resulted with Valley Merchant Police, which is the current vendor, as a successful proposer and best qualified to provide these services. So we have, and this went through an RFP, that's why we had the 5 coming back. Cost, the way we evaluated them, or the weight on each of the areas that were evaluated, experiences and qualification was a 40% weight of the total score. Cost proposal was 45%, references was 15%, for a total of 100%.
Okay.
And out of the five, the one with the highest score was Valley Merchant with 86.20. The next one down was Nighthawk Protection with 79.12. The third one was Night Vision Security Inc. of Albany with 71.47. The next one was Cervexo Gardenia from California, 67.33. And the lowest score overall was Celtic Protection Services from Salem with 53.75.
Okay. And I see John out here in the hallway at all of our meetings. Are we currently using any people at any of these other locations you mentioned, like Talking Water and Gardens, or the...
The ones that I mentioned that are current service are provided by Valley Merchant Police.
And so like at the Public Works facility, is that driving by during the evening, that type of thing?
Yeah, in the Public Works Operation Facility, there is a round checkup that goes and checks some doors and make sure everything is locked. And the Talking Water Garden is also a patrol services over there. The ones that we're adding here in City Hall as a recommendation from the Safety Committee is about 80 hours a month total, which is Mondays and Wednesdays and the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. That adds about 80 hours a month with a total of $1,520 a month as an additional. What happened was that this service was in place for many years, and since we added this additional, we're adding these additional hours, it was prudent for us to go out and do an RFP and evaluate what was available out there.
Well, is the intent to have a presence, an individual in City Hall?
Correct.
If you're going to do that, I guess I'm not following why 2 days a month or 2 days a week, I mean.
We wanted to start with something reasonable and not have a full-blown 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Same as court days?
Yeah, it matches with court days, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can
Municipal court.
I can see the logic to it. And their main job is just going to be to, what? I mean, are they allowed to confront and get physical, or just call it in, or?
Well, first of all, the ones that are daytime, it has a different requirement from the ones that are nighttime and the evening patrol. The one for daytime, we're expecting them to be able to remove folks that are not following the rules, and also generate a report that will go back to police in case we need to follow up later.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Rich had his hand up earlier.
Oh, Rich and then Dick. And then Ray.
The Saturday market. Now, does the city do Saturday market, or is that done by outside people?
Outside vendor, yeah.
Okay, well, I know it is physically outside.
Yeah.
No, outside people, not city.
Outside people, so are they paying more now because they're getting security?
I don't think they pay.
It was opened up for City Hall during that time, kind of as a community benefit, but I believe, I thought Farmers Market was paying
I think
to
that's
have it
true.
open.
Because, I mean, if we are providing them now with security, they need to pay for it.
I believe we have.
If it is
We have
too-
been providing security, and they have been paying for it, but I'll have to check on that.
Okay.
When I've come
Please-
down,
Please do, because I know they charge other people for space.
So the security isn't for outdoors, it is just to keep
Inside.
inside, so if somebody comes in to use the restrooms, that they're not wandering around. So it's inside security.
But it's because they're there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a very nice added benefit having City Hall open for, on Saturdays, till 1 o'clock in the downtown area to provide that bathroom, so, yeah. So, and Dick and then Ray.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are these security people armed, or are they?
Unarmed, is an unarmed security service.
I kind of wonder if somebody decides to come in here and shoot up City Hall, what good does that do to have an unarmed guard here?
That concern's appreciated, but to have an armed security guard increases the price exponentially.
Too much, yeah.
Because there's a lot of training and insurance requirements to go with that.
Well, here again, I wonder what's the point?
Well, we don't anticipate violent confrontations.
No, I'm
Most
sure
most of
we
the things
don't,
are
but
much more
I pray to God it never happens.
mundane and run-of-the-mill. So the big thing is deterrence, and the big thing is to help the staff if they ever have to confront somebody who is not willing to conduct themselves by our new code of conduct and help escort them out.
Hope that does the trick.
Ray?
Okay, two questions. The budget impact, what department is that budget coming from?
I think that's going to be, it's going to be divided among the departments that receive the services. Public operations has a cost, some cost based on the hours. There's an additional cost that's going to come from our city manager's budget for the additional hours. Today, this is funded, this is current service. The additional service, the new ones, the 80 hours a month, are coming out of our general fund.
So currently, it's coming out of the
different departments that are
each
receiving the
department
service.
pays a share of it, okay. Then it says that it's a subject to a maximum increase in any year of the CPI or 3%, whichever is lower. So what is the trend of the CPI? Has it been less than the 3%?
2.1. The one we experienced for January of this year was 2.1.
So basically, these numbers could be high if the CPI keeps coming in lower than the 3%.
These numbers are calculated with the maximum of 3%.
With
It could be
3%,
lower.
so the actual amount could be lower if the CPI comes in lower?
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I do know, it's nice having Valley Merchant Police always having a consistent with the same, security guard here, because I've noticed that John always knows if there's somebody that comes out or kind of hanging around, he knows the individuals, will kind of recognize them. If we had a company that just brought in somebody different each meeting, they're not going to know if there could be somebody questionable that would be hanging around, or who actually should be here and who shouldn't. But it's very nice to be able to have that consistency with the security guard.
Yes, and some of the issues that we've been seeing is that there's been folks that stayed after hours and, hiding in the bathrooms, or and there's different issues that we have to deal with, and this person will be able to check these before they leave.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, council, what would you like to do with this item?
Move to approve the resolution adopting the Valley Merchant Police contract.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you, Jorge. And next is appointments. The first one would be appointing Brian Seaton to the Public Safety Commission. This is on page 34.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, and then next you have on the dais, there's two more. One that was put on the revised agenda. This would be for Scott Lawley to the Human Relations Commission, and then you have one for the Library Board, which would be, it's Eileen Nguyen. And since also now we're having two vacancies on the Library Board, for their next meeting, we wanted to walk on Eileen Nguyen for her appointment so they could end up having another member be able to attend their next meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve both appointments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I have a question on the Arlene Nguyen. I don't know if we're missing a page or what, but we didn't get all the questions or anything like that. I mean, it probably doesn't make any difference, but if one needs to fill
Oh, I
it
see,
all
yeah.
out.
Some of the questions were missing on the back. It didn't get in on the back, but,
Print the second page.
yeah. I think a lot of you probably would recognize Eileen. She's the one that coordinates all of the volunteers when it comes to the city big cleanup day on that Saturday. She's brought us from her church, just lots of volunteers for that. So pretty sure most of you would know Eileen. Yeah, she's been around for a long time. Actually, she went to school with my sister. So I think, Bill, you'd recognize her. Remember too, so. Okay, that motion's been made for Scott Lawley and Eileen Nguyen. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. All right, last we have the business from the council. Bessie, anything this evening?
Well, I apologize, Jeff, I forgot to ask you when we were doing the property sales, where does that money, the $225,000, where will it go?
direction to date has been for any of the proceeds from the property sales to go back into the Pepsi settlement, money that was redirected to economic development activity.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Good
Thank
answer.
you.
It's the only acceptable answer.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, Bill? Dick? All right, Rich?
Yep.
Ray? Okay, Mike?
Negative.
All right. The only thing I have is, I did want to let you know that I will be doing a presentation on the Cumberland Church for the Friends of the Library on Friday at noon, if anybody'd like to attend. We'll be
And that's
showing.
at the library?
Yeah, the
Main
library. We'll be showing a lot of historic photos and going back to 1892, so. Okay, and that was it that I had, Peter? Anything?
The only thing I have is just to let you know that I'll be absent along with Jorge the week of the 24th for the ICMA convention, and Ed Hodney will sit in as city manager.
Okay, all right. Is that it? Staff have anything? Okay, all right. Okay, so with that, we are going to recess to executive session. The city council will now meet in an executive session for the purpose of discussing real property transactions pursuant to ORS 192.6602E and pending litigation or litigation likely to be filed pursuant to ORS 192.6602H. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room at this time. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session.